Well, I had a couple people say that my last story about screwing up an interview was pretty funny, and I thought, well, shit, that ain't the only time, and it probably wasn't the worst one I ever had. So let me tell you how serendipity can play a part in your career and how you have to navigate through the slings and arrows, so to speak, of people as you get going in this business. I was a pretty hot deal when I left Phoenix to go to LA. I was a pretty hot deal in Phoenix. Yeah, I was. I had models calling me up for photographs. Worked with the best makeup artists in town. I shot for J.C. Penney's, Dillard's, Goldwater's. I was smoking in Phoenix. So I decided, hey, you know what? Those poor saps in LA, they need me. They really do. They need me. Yeah. I was once having lunch there with an art director, and the waiter and the guy behind the counter at the little lunch counter both had portfolios with them, and both their portfolios just rocked. And I thought, shit, the waiters have awesome portfolios in LA. It's pretty much like that. But I didn't know that, and I didn't care. I was, full of piss and vinegar, and I was ready to go. So I packed up my wife and my I don't know if I had a dog then, but let's say I had a dog just because it sounds more interesting. Packed up my wife and my dog, headed over to California, found a place to live in Lakewood, which was a little suburb of Long Beach. Nice little house, had a studio in the back. Actually, it was a two-car garage, but I made it into a studio. And I got to work. And I had been doing a whole lot of girl pictures, fashion here in Phoenix, because good Lord Almighty, Phoenix is a fashion center, baby. You better believe it. Anyway, I had done a lot of hosiery for a catalog company here, and over in LA, one of the ad agencies was handling this big campaign for Hanes, I believe it was, stockings. So I go, this is one of the big ad agencies, one of the biggest ad agencies. I believe it was Gray Advertising. I pack my little portfolio up and I make a call and I get an appointment with the art director there, one that handles Hanes Advertising, and I just go down there. I'm ready to go. And I pull out my book, and he sits down and he introduces himself, and he pulls out the book and he puts it on the table in front of him, and he kind of goes through it. Just kind of flipping the pages, looking. So where'd you shoot this? I said, well, I shot in Phoenix. Who did you shoot it for? And I told him at the catalog house. And that was the only question he asked. And he closed the book up and he looked at me and says, what are you doing here? And I said, excuse me? He said, what are you doing here? Well, I'm a photographer. He said, why are you showing me this crap? Your whole life goes compressed into a little bubble and just bursts right in front of your brain, folks. Crap? He said, I can't use this. I don't know. He says, maybe this is good for Phoenix, but I can't use this. And he gets up and he walks out. And I took my book and I went down and got my little car. And I got on the 405 and I was thinking, well, if I go 80 miles an hour and hit that bridge, that should pretty much, do it. And I got home and I was just, I was mortified. I was terrified. About 5 days later, I got a letter from him addressed to the studio because he had my card. He didn't apologize. He said, look, I was hard on you. I think you've got some talent. I want you to go meet these two guys. I told them you're going to call them. Don't let me down. That was it. Okay, so I called him up and they said, yeah, I believe his name was Jeff, but I don't remember his name, and I'm sad that I've forgotten it all these years. I said, yeah, Jeff said you would call and, One was an art director and one was a photographer. Art director spent about an hour and a half with me. The photographer spent about 2.5 hours with me. 2.5 hours out of his busy schedule. Looked through the book, told me what I needed to do, told me where I needed to go, made a call for me, got me in with elite models in LA and Wilhelmina. The art director was brutally honest. Heavy on the word brutally, but more importantly, honest. And really told me what I needed to do to pick the stuff up. Both of them said, you got game, or whatever it was we said back in 1982 or whatever the hell it was. You know, you got some things going, but you've got to get LA talent. You've got to get, you know, a little bit better technique, and you've got to be able to deliver punchier stuff. So I went home and pulled out my bank account, saw that, you know, after the move and everything to LA, you know, we were just a little bit under where we were supposed to be at that point. And I pulled out about $2,500 because I started to reshoot my portfolio, and I spent about 9 weeks reshooting the portfolio with LA models, and it cost about $2,500, $2,600. Film and processing alone was over $2,000. And I called up the art director and showed the book, and he said, coming along, call this guy. I called that guy, I got a job. Boom, just like that, got a job. Next guy I showed my book to, I got a job. I started working all over the Long Beach area, down into Huntington Beach, Lakewood. There was nothing in Lakewood, nothing right around me. There was a lot of clients down on the other side. I can't remember the name of that place. Redondo Beach. I got some work over in Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach area. Never broke into the LA thing, yeah, at that point, you know, but eventually did. Eventually was shooting for, you know, clients up on Wilshire and stuff. But in the first year and a half, I was probably shooting 3.5 days a week in the area, shooting all kinds of stuff. One last little interesting thing is the very first job I got, when I told you I got the job, I showed my book, which was full of fashion and beauty. And the guy hired me on the spot to take a picture of a computer room. Yeah, so I say, hey, shoot for the market you want to shoot for, but get ready for shit that's going to come from like left field. Well, it's a good thing that I had shot lots of computer rooms. Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. I had never shot a computer room. I had no idea what I was doing. I took my little set of Ascor lights down to the computer room, and I hammered out some shots, and they liked them, and they ran them full page in their annual report they were working on. And, you know, I thought, boy, I better learn how to shoot computer rooms. Never got another computer room shot for 10 years. So you just got to do the best you can. I'm sure glad I took that job because it really opened my eyes to more of a commercial look to what could be done. I was kind of stuck in fashion and beauty, and I didn't even realize that I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I wasn't in love with it. I wasn't in love with the people or the whole thing, but I was in love with photography. So you got to go for it. You're going to get some bad reviews, but you got to make the best out of them. Listen to the people. They're not there to kill you. They're there to help you in their own way. So that was probably the worst portfolio showing I ever did. But it's not the only funny one. Maybe I'll tell you one of those later. See you tomorrow.